Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. For this video, I'm kind of, in a way, going back to my roots. When it comes to the success of these homemade MRE videos, it was something that kind of happened by accident. I had, in the past, posted a few homemade MRE videos that didn't really do a whole lot, but it was a different format. I just kind of went to the store, got the stuff, and then showed you what I had gotten. Somewhere around a year and a half, 2 years ago, I posted a video where I went to my local Kroger. I did the video in a similar format to what I'm doing now, and it didn't really go anywhere. But then a few months later, I started noticing an increase in activity on this channel. Viewership was going up. Subscribers were going up. There was a whole lot going on. So I went back and started researching my videos, but then I discovered that this video that I did at my Kroger was getting thousands of views. That was not something I was used to on this channel. So I decided I was going to test the waters and see if I could catch that lightning in a bottle again. And sure enough, it turned out that you guys like this stuff. So circling back around to where that got kickstarted, I'm doing another homemade MRE from my local Kroger. So let me introduce to you the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu KR2 from Kroger. Now, anytime I go back to a store where I've done an MRE before, I try to really come at it with something new and fresh. And one of the cool things about my trip to Kroger was I found items that I've not seen before. I've had people in the past tell me about some new things on the market that I should try, but my stores weren't carrying them. So fortunately, on this trip to Kroger, I happened to find a couple of things I have not tried before or even seen before. Now, I do have some rules that regulate how I build these MREs. I'm not going to go through those in the video, but if you're curious, they are down in the description box below, so you can see what the concept is behind what I'm doing here. So let's get into this bag and see what I've got for my homemade MRE from Kroger. For my entree, one of the items that I picked up that I have not seen before is this Starkist Beef Creations. This is taco-style beef, seasoned beef in sauce. I had no idea that Starkist was getting into the beef business. I wonder what Charlie's got to say about that. So this is going to be part of our entree. Now, because there's not much to this, we've got to add something to it, right? So to make this more complete, I picked up a pack of the Minute Rice Spanish rice. This was another thing I haven't seen before. I've seen all variety of their pre-cooked instant rice, but I've never seen the Spanish rice before. And I think that is going to be a perfect thing to add to this taco beef. So before we go any further, I'm going to get this in the trucker's lunchbox so it can be warming up, and then we're going to dive in and see what else is in that bag. Now, for the people that will occasionally come into my videos and talk about my use of things like the trucker's lunchbox compared to the flameless ration heaters that are used in MREs, understand that the military actually has a device that's very similar to this. There is an MRE heater that is installed in some vehicles, and anytime a group is going out on some sort of deployment where they know they're going to need food for everybody, they'll take the MRE contents, put it in this large heating box, and then when they get to where they're going, the food's already hot. So for the purists and the naysayers that think that somehow this trucker's lunchbox is not genuine when we're working with MREs, there you go. Not to mention the fact we're not building real MREs. We're showcasing items that you can use to build your own MREs to your personal specifications. Now, as our side, I got something that I think is going to go right there in the theme with our entree. I picked up one of these little containers of Van Camp's pork and beans. You know, one of the things with things like pork and beans is you can't always get them in a reasonable size or something that's going to be easy to handle. So I think that's going to be a perfect portion to go with our meal. Now, these can absolutely be eaten cold, or you can heat them up. I'm going to throw them in the trucker's lunchbox with the rest of this stuff and let them heat up just a little bit before we try them. So our next item is our walking around snack, and for that I picked up a couple of these Kroger store brand snack sticks. These are generic Slim Jims, and this is the smoked turkey variety. So we're going to get to try the store brand product. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that when I'm doing things from a particular store, if they have a store brand and they've got decent products that fit all the rules, I'm going to try to grab one of those every time. And then of course, the fact that these are the turkey sticks, I'm anxious to try these and see how they match up to the national brand. Next up, we have our dessert. And for that, I have one of these Kind bars. This is caramel, almond, and sea salt. I think this is going to be a good way to round out that meal, get a little bit of sweetness, get a little bit of saltiness, and get just a little bit of an extra bump at the end of the meal. And finally, we have our beverage. And what could be more perfect? Kicking off fall. I think we're maybe a week into fall officially now, and the weather is finally starting to change. It's getting comfortable outside, and I can't wait to start spending more time outdoors. But to kick it off, I've got this Alpine spiced apple cider mix. I think that right there is going to be a proper welcoming for the autumn season. So that's everything that's in this bag from Kroger. Let's get started trying some of these things to see if they're as good as I'm hoping they are. And of course, to kick that off, we're going to mix up our beverage. And to do that, we need the official Dad Budget Adventures Bling Mug. If you're new to the channel, this was made for me by a dear friend of mine named Amanda. This has been in so many videos and it gets so many comments, but it's the most ridiculously cool thing that I've got that represents this channel. So let's tear this thing open. Let's pour this cider mix in here and see what we've got. Ooh, that smells good. It's already starting to kind of get in the air in here as I pour it out. Stir it up and get it mixed in nice. You know, mixed up, it doesn't really smell like apple cider. And I'm not sure what it smells like, but we're going to set it aside, let it rest for just a minute as we start trying some of these other things. I'm going to let our side dish heat up just a little bit more before I get it out. So let's try one of these walking around snacks, our Kroger Snack Sticks smoked turkey variety. So I've always loved Slim Jims, even growing up when I was a kid. I love the flavor of them. So I'm curious to see how Kroger has done with their version. It smells like a Slim Jim. All right, let's give that a snap. That's not bad at all. It is interesting. This being the turkey variety, I can feel a difference in the texture and I can taste a difference in the meat, which is really unusual because generally with these kind of things, they're all kind of designed to taste alike. This I can actually kind of taste smoked turkey in it. Reminds me a lot of going to the fair, getting those big smoked turkey legs. Yeah, I'd get those again. Those are good. All right, let's give this apple cider a try. I can smell that it's apple cider. It's just not a strong smell like I'm used to when it comes to something like this. You got to get right up on it to really be able to smell it. Let's give it a test and see if it tastes good. It tastes more like apple juice than apple cider. I know there's not a huge difference in the flavor, but this definitely tastes more on the side of apple juice. Could use just a little bit more of those mulling spices in it to really round out that flavor. But as far as an instant beverage, you just throw that in some hot water and you got this. It's not bad. Let's get our pork and beans out and see how those are, and then we're going to try our entree. All right, we got a little pop top on here. One of the cool things about containers like this that come with this style of pop top is if you don't have something to eat with, you can bend this top into a utensil, and now you've got something that you can shovel this in with. Smells pretty good. It's got a very sweet, sweet smell to it. But let's get in here and get us a big old bite of these beans. Where's my pork? My chunk of pork at? I don't see it. I feel like I've been ripped off. That was always my favorite thing, was finding that little piece of pork fat that's in there. All right, let's get a big old spoonful of beans. Going in. That's good stuff. They're very, very sweet, but they are good. That's rather enjoyable. I think I want another one of these. These were really good. There we go. Maybe I should have packed 3. All right, let's get our entree out, get it plated up, see what we got. I'm anxious to try this Star-Kissed beef to see if this is something that I want to keep using. First thing we're going to do is get out our Spanish rice. Let's get that open. Ow. Ooh, that's hot. Get it out onto our Hydro Flask plate. This smells really good. I hope it tastes as good as it smells. Before we do anything else, let's give it a try and see if it does. That's pretty good. It's not a strong Spanish rice flavor, but it is tasty. Yep, that's going to be a good base. All right, let's open this up and see what this taco beef is all about. It smells like taco meat. I'll give it that. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot in there, but all right, let's get this out here. We're just going to put it right on top of the Spanish rice. There's not a whole lot to it. It's a relatively small portion, and when you really start breaking down the cost of it, it's not a great bargain. But we have to keep in mind something here. What we are using with these little pouches like this is a conveniently portioned out and pre-cooked meat. So while it's not the greatest bargain when you really break it down in a unit price, for what we need it for, it's perfect. All right, let's give it a try. Usually with taco meat, I picture ground beef. This looks more like a shredded or pulled meat. It's got a good smell of taco seasoning, but let's try it, see how it tastes. Hey, that's not bad at all. Given what we've got to work with here, that's acceptable. let's mix this all in here. Just want to get it nice and mixy. And then let's get us a bite. It's got everything in it. Let's see how our taco rice bowl turned out. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. This right here would be really good as a filling if you had some tortillas with you. You could roll those up with this in it. That'd be something to have right there. Let's go ahead and get this on here. Might as well do it up proper. See how they mix. It just works, y'all. You could mix this all together or not, either way. My recommendation, though, is for this meal, do this when you're camping alone, not when you're sleeping in a small tent with somebody else. Show some respect. Got some sriracha. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, let's give that a go. Bring the heat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, boy. I'm loving that. Let me get all that with that sriracha and the beans and the rice and the taco meat. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Let's do that again. All right, it's time to set that aside, finish this thing out, and then I'll go finish that out. I do occasionally have people ask about when I eat these meals and if this is something that I do as a daily meal. The answer to that is yes. When I'm doing one of these meals, it's either a replacement for my lunch or my dinner. So it helps if the food is good, because there's nothing so disappointing as making something to eat as your meal and then finding out it sucks. But it's also one of those things I only eat once a week. So for those of you that are concerned that I'm eating like this all the time, I don't. This is one meal a week. I'm going to be fine. One last thing, we've got our Kind Caramel, Almond, and Sea Salt Bar. Ooh, this is cool. It has a layer of caramel on the bottom. So where some of them have chocolate, this has caramel on the bottom. And then it's got a drizzle of caramel on top. That looks delicious. And it smells delicious. Wow, that's a very autumny smell to it. This smells like autumn. I can't express enough. Caramels and nuts and all that kind of stuff going together. Yeah, man. Halloween's gonna be here before we know it. Let's get a bite of that. And chase that with this apple cider. That's a good combo, y'all. I've had a couple of these Kind bars before. I think I just found my favorite. This thing right here, this hits every note of my favorite things. I'm a huge fan of fall weather. I'm a huge fan of Halloween and everything that goes with it. I have two favorite smells. One of them is burning leaves, and the other one is the smell of a jack-o'-lantern burning. Not pumpkin, mind you. That smell that it makes when the candle scorches the top of the inside of that pumpkin. It's a very exclusive smell. It's something I've never seen duplicated. I wish they would make candles that smelled like a burning jack-o'-lantern. But this right here, this has all the flavors of fall wrapped right up into it. And then you chase it with this. That's happiness right there. All right, people, that is it for the homemade MRE from Kroger. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you can be made aware of all upcoming videos. If this is something that you like to see, drop a comment and tell me about it. Also, if you have a store in your area that you think would be great for building a homemade MRE, drop me a comment and tell me about it. They may not be in my area, but I do tend to travel a lot, and I try to find places to shop for MREs while I'm out. But that's going to wrap it up for this one, and until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. And we'll see you around.